Okay, this is, we're using the book Advanced 2. If you're in 7th grade, it's Advanced 2. If you are in 8th grade, it is Course 3. They are the same. 8th grade Course 3 is the same as Advanced 2. We're still working in Lesson 1.1, Example 3. We are on page 6. Okay, today we are strictly practicing. Okay, our first problem. K, we're going to use K instead of X. Plus 4 divided by 2/10 equals 5. Okay, this looks a little bit different, but I think we can handle it. The first thing that we want to do, K plus 4 divided by 2/10 equals 5. The first thing we want to do is this problem right here. The first thing we want to do is 4 divided by 2/10. Okay, I told you you could use a calculator for this. So you will find that positive 4 divided by positive 2/10 is positive 20. Everything else comes down. And now this should look like a problem you already know how to do. We want to isolate K. We want to get K by itself. Victoria, Rose, video please. We want to get K by itself, and to do that, we need to use the inverse or opposite of positive 20. We're going to use negative 20. What we do to one side, we must do to the other. Okay. K, these guys cancel, equals, I have a positive and a negative, so I'm going to subtract. 20 minus 5 is 15. Keep the sign of the largest number. There we go. K equals negative 15. And if you weren't sure about that, you could plug it in and check. Negative 15 plus 4 divided by 2 equals 5. The order of operations says I need to do this problem first. Negative 15 plus 20 equals 5. Positive, negative, oops, and that's 5, not 50, sorry. Positive, negative, I'm going to subtract, keep the sign of my largest number. 5 does equal 5. That is true. So it is a check. Very nice. Okay, not too bad. Solve that first, and then it looks like a problem we already know how to do. Okie doke. 12 equals x minus the absolute value of negative 7. Oh, absolute value. Okay. Well, the first thing we're going to do, we're going to find the absolute value of negative 7. And the absolute value, remember, absolute value is the number of spaces away from 0. It's positive. Absolute value will always be positive because it's the number of spaces from 0. So negative 7 is 7 spaces from 0, and it's always positive. So the absolute value of negative 7 is positive 7. Everything else comes down. And now this should look like a problem you already know how to do. We want to isolate x. And to do that, we need to get rid of this negative 7. So I'm going to add 7. What I do to one side, I must do to the other. Positive and positive, I'm going to add. keep the sign, equals, these guys cancel, x. X equals 19. Okay, so when you have absolute value, you need to take care of the absolute value, then continue. Okay. Numbers do not always stay that simple because sometimes we have decimals. D minus 2 8/10 divided by 2/10 equals negative 14. So in this problem, the first thing we need to take care of is this. So if you want to use a calculator, you can. Negative 2 8/10 divided by 2/10. I have a positive and a negative, so my answer will be negative. And negative 2 8/10 divided by 2/10 is negative 14. Everything else comes down. And now this should look like a problem you already know how to do. We want to isolate the variable. So to do that, we need to get rid of this negative 14. I'm going to add 14. What I do to one side, I must do to the other. These guys cancel. D equals negative 14 plus 14 is 0. Can a variable equal 0? Yes, a variable can equal 0. And our last problem, because numbers don't always stay so clean, P minus negative 1/4 times 3 equals negative 5/6. Oh, okay, I see fractions, I see whole numbers, I see negatives. I see a P, a variable. Okie doke. Well, let's break it down. The first thing I need to do is this. So negative 1/4 times 3. Okay, if it helps, you can put that 3 over a 1. So I have negative 1 times 3 is negative 3. 4 times 1 is 4. Everything else comes down. So now I have P minus 3/4 equals negative 5/6. This is a problem you already know how to do. I want to isolate P. And to do that, I'm going to add 3/4, the opposite of negative 3/4, positive 3/4. What I do to one side, I need to do to the other. So these guys cancel. P equals, I do not have a common denominator. I need a common denominator. So between 6 and 4, my common denominator will be 12. Okay, let's multiply this by 2 over 2, negative 10/12. We will multiply this by 3 over 3, positive 9/12. Rose, video, we have a positive and a negative. So my answer, I'm going to subtract. 10 minus 9 is 1. 12th, keep the sign of my largest number. P is equal to negative 1/12. Okay, that's about it for today's lesson.